The last market report we did for August showed that while the seller's market persisted due to higher sales prices and a low number of days on market, contract activity was still on the decline and it was increasing in scale. If sellers are looking to sell within the timeline, listing their property at fair market value is now more important than ever due to there being far fewer buyers to offer bids. Combine those factors with inventory increasing in scale each month and you get a more manageable environment for prospective buyers. Will the seller's market retain its strength in the midst of market cooling? Will inventory increase at an even greater rate? Stay tuned for September's market report. Quick disclaimer, there are other agents doing market reports for Las Vegas. You might see different stats in the categories discussed in this video. Agents across Las Vegas have different sources and those sources might have different data. For transparency's sake, I will link all the sources I have used personally to create this video market report in the description below. First up is the median sales price. September clocked in at $415,000, which is a $5,000 increase over August. Year over year, the increase has been marked at an impressive $71,600. Right on schedule, monthly and annual numbers continue to increase even with contract activity continuing to drop. Will the sales price continue to rise to the end of 2022? Now we go to inventory in the Las Vegas Valley. September shows up at 7,661 units, an increase from 7,254 units in August. August of 2021 displayed 7,091 units being available, clocking in a gain of 570 more units for sale. This is the first month where we register a positive gain in the annual year-over-year comparison. Have we reached a tipping point in inventory available in the valley? The trend of monthly inventory increases that started in May continues. Now, inventory still has a way to go to fulfill buyer demand fully, but it is a much better situation for prospective buyers, especially when looking at the inventory numbers relative to buyer demand in 2021. We now cover pending transactions, where a seller accepts a buyer offer and the transaction goes into escrow. September sits at 42,610 units being under contract, marking a decrease of 1,701 fewer units being under contract when compared to August. September of 2021 had 51,557 units under contract, which marks a decrease of 8,947 fewer buyers getting their offers accepted. We go from pending to the final stage of an escrow, which is closed transactions. Simply put, these are the number of home transactions that finish up escrow and transfer home ownership to the buyer. September clocks in at 44,641 units closing, marking a decrease of 1,644 units when compared to August. September of 2021 sat at 51,917 closed units, showing a decrease of 7,276 fewer units closing year over year. We now go to our final stat, which is median days on market, or in other words, how long it takes for a listing to go live on the market to an accepted offer. September sits at 10 days on market, which is 1 day more compared to August. Annual gains have stagnated, where September of 2021 showed units being on the market for 10 days. While 10 days is not a bad timeline for the sale of a fair market value property, the days on market are slightly increasing, which is something to take note of. Fair market value will yield the best results if the seller is on the timeline. I'm going to switch up the segment after the market stats a bit. I'm going to cover the pros and cons as it relates to the seller, buyer, and then list trends that people should keep an eye on in terms of market health. For any prospective sellers, here are the market patterns that should be on your radar. The first thing to say is that the seller market continues. Inventory continues to be low relative to buyer demand. Inventory still goes under contract fairly quickly at fair market value, and home values keep increasing. If any prospective seller wants the best results possible, listing at fair market value will yield the shortest amount of time on market and the best chance at getting multiple offers. However, I do have to say the seller's market of today is not the hot seller's market we experienced in 2020 and 2021. While inventory is still low, monthly inventory increases are steadily getting bigger. While inventory steadily increases, contract activity is taking considerable hits with each passing month. Combining inventory increases, a noticeable decline in contract activity, and the buyer pool shrinking due to the doubling of interest rates, and you now have the reasons behind the cooling of the seller's market. With the cooling of the seller's market, prospective sellers should expect less overall leverage when negotiating offer terms with qualified prospective buyers. Secondly, let's cover the pros and cons for prospective buyers. Let's not sugarcoat it. Home buying affordability took massive hits. To illustrate the effects on home buying affordability, let's take a look at a $425,000 mortgage at different interest rates, one for today and one for last year. As you can see, there is a huge difference. To add insult to injury, the working wage is not matching the increased cost of higher interest rates and elevated inflation. As a result, this home buying affordability crisis is shrinking the pool of prospective buyers. However, this could be good news for buyers who are still able to afford a home purchase, as there are fewer buyers to compete with, and buyers will find newfound leverage in constructing their purchase offer for a property. Not to mention, more inventory is being listed as months go by, increasing the options a ready, willing, and able buyer has. Now, what are the trends and patterns we should all keep a close eye on? Keep an eye on consumer confidence in the economy and inflation figures as each month passes. If inflation keeps being elevated, the Federal Reserve will likely raise interest rates once again. As interest rates rise, expect home buying affordability to take more damage. As fewer people become eligible to buy, the gap between supply and demand will shrink, cooling the sales market even further. The Federal Reserve meets 2 more times in 2022, with meetings being in November and December. Well, that wraps up September's market report. If there are certain stats you want to know about or want a specific topic covered, please do let me know. If you're curious about your property value and want a well-formulated evaluation, have any questions related to buying, or just have any questions in general, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you got any feedback, that is also welcome as well. This is SanJuan with eXp Realty, signing off.